There we go. Try that again. Hello. You got no sound, John.
I have sound. How dare you?
There you go.
I
Step
have a
number,
voice, Matt. I have a voice.
step number one. Hey, how's it going? This is our second time doing this. It's kind of still pretty loosey goosey. We'll get into things a little more formally in the future. But thanks for joining. We thought we'd take today and just go over all the updates we just pushed out on Wednesday. Our dev team did a fantastic job. Get it rolling. There's a lot of stuff in this one.
Yeah, this one was a very heavy one, but we think it makes a nice kind of improvement to the site and makes everyone's life a little bit easier. But yeah, a couple things. Yeah, as Matt said, like second episode, so forgive us for still working out all the kinks and everything, but we're grateful to have you guys here. We're going to be at WonderCon this week or next weekend in Anaheim. So if you guys are around and you see us, you'll see the hats. And if you see us, how about this? If you see us, we'll give you a shirt or a hat. We'll bring some with us.
Yeah, just tap us on the shoulder, push us down if you can. We're pretty big.
Yeah, we do stand out. We look small maybe on camera, but we're actually like 6'3" each. So
yeah. But if you can, hey, I won't blame you. So there's your opportunity.
Actually, if someone tackles Matt and pins him for 3 seconds, you get 2 shirts. So
yeah, right.
Inviting danger.
It's totally worth getting kicked out of the convention for sure.
Also, what we want to just call out Anti-Hero Comics and Brian Huntington in the comments. Those are guys who work with COVRPRICE. And
we got
Brian,
Palace Comics, Ron, who writes our Day After Wednesday, as well as stuff for the Market Report. So he's in there as well.
So if they're answering any of your questions, it's valid. Trust them.
Yeah.
Maybe not that Brian character. I don't know. He's shady.
Brian just told me to stop saying PST because we're in PDT, and I'm like, that's.
Brian was the guy who made that cool opening that standby thing. This thing, we really love it. So
yeah. Anywho, yeah. So this is what we're doing today. There was amongst all that, we're starting to get these little nuggets of comic book news, which is kind of fun. I feel like there's some big updates coming out soon, so I have a feeling that people will be like, "Oh, comics are back pretty soon." When everyone starts rolling out their
lineups,
their slates, so it's going to be.
Do you want to get into that now?
No, I mean, there's not that much to cover because there's nothing going on right now. I mean, this week we covered just a few things where there's, they announced there's kind of a rumor at a Dead Man or a Justice League Dark film. The Alkalite trailer came out, and people are pretty excited about that. Question is, will that do anything for comics? Star Wars books are super finicky in the aftermarket. They were on fire when The Mandalorian hit, and then
all those Thrawn covers came out, right? All that spec.
Oh well, there's just everything. I mean, when Mandalorian hit, it was just
Shoka
onslaught of like everyone was specking on characters that left and right from every single book. It was nuts, and then they all died. Well, then not everything died, but it went down at least. So the Alkalite is interesting. But I think the big fun news this week was X-Men 97. I know we were talking about earlier.
No spoilers or anything, of course. But dude, those 2 episodes are amazing. I really liked it.
Yeah. And it's what's fun about it is when you think about what the films don't do well, except for what I think Spider-Man tapped into really well with the last film with the 3 Spider-Men, is really like knowing how to use these characters in fresh new ways. And X-Men 97 really does Cyclops some major props, like of rethinking through his powers a little bit.
Not just Cyclops, but Storm. Like she's an Omega level mutant. Like they tap into that, and it's just insane what she kind of does in episode 1. It's just great. It's awesome. It's so cool to see them do these characters right and do them justice. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, and I didn't know Gambit could charge up a beignet.
Well, in the trailer, they also charged up like Wolverine's claws. So everyone knows that. That's in the trailer. How come Wolverine didn't explode? I don't understand that.
I would assume we're getting way too deep, but I would assume animanium has the ability to discharge.
Does it? Okay.
Let's make up rules. I mean, that why not?
Okay.
Anywho, so what's the update on adding missing comics on the site? We'll get into questions a little bit more, but to answer that, there's a bunch of things. We just hired several new people. Before we relied on a lot of volunteer work and a lot of consultants to kind of come in and do things in the evenings. That's why it's very sporadic and not consistent. That we just decided to just hire people officially and bring them in to do this stuff regularly, constantly.
Right.
So that will be the good news. You're going to see a much larger flow of this stuff actually getting out there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to say. I'm talking over you. Sorry.
No, it's all good. If you feel like you're itching and it's been a while, just send us a note at info@coverprice.com saying I would really like mine done, and we'll we'll get yours knocked out quick.
Again, if you tackle Matt at WonderCon, we'll do all of your missing items at once and 2 shirts. It's going to get worse and worse. And to just jump on that, we are aware that the missing item flow has been bogged down and slow. We are 100% trying to fix that. And not only are we doing that with manpower, but on the roadmap is a complete revamp of the way you guys submit missing items so that we can do some kind of crowdsourcing. But it's a challenge. I mean, honestly, we have over 800,000 comics in the database, and every week 400 new ones come out, and so it's just a nonstop challenge of getting all those in. But keep the missing item requests coming. They are going into a queue, and we are working our way through them, and it should be getting better soon.
Yeah, give it a couple weeks. But again, if you need something done sooner rather than later, for sure. And there is a tendency for the more obscure, like if you're the only person out of the past 6 years to request a book, yes, that stuff kind of ends up, behind a little bit. So just let us know.
Although we do like the obscure stuff.
No, we love the obscure stuff. That's what our Shaker report is all about.
It is funny when you guys stump Matt with something. He's like, I haven't seen that before. I hear that maybe once a year.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. Someone shared Oron shared a book or on our team. I forget, it was some Daredevil book with the cat, like the Netflix likenesses with, I don't know, I forget what he said. There was some, I'd never seen it before, so I was kind of like, what, asking about that. This is terrible. This is not helpful at all. So
let's jump into the let me share my screen and we'll kind of walk through the update. Okay.
Fat Joe, that was it. Thank you. I was like, who's Fat Joe? But then when you said it, I kind of remember, but I don't think, anyways.
Yeah. So we're really excited about this update. This update completely revamps the look and feel of the homepage, making a lot of the information more accessible. Why did we focus on the homepage? Well, one, it's been something we've been working on for a few months, to be honest. Everyone comes to the homepage. The old one was kind of version 1, and we always wanted to replace it. But now that we have like a lot more content being created and all the lists are being updated more regularly and all these different things, it's time to surface that information so that when you come to the site, you actually know what COVRPRICE is all about instead of having to hunt for it through the site. So just to give you a quick walkthrough, search stays the same. Don't forget to add your hashtag if you're going to look for a series. That's the only way to get down to the specific series.
And you can see the latest content cycling through at the top there, which is pretty faster than it's been before.
You could probably slow that down. You gotta be quick.
That's really fast. But I mean, not that that's necessarily a bad thing. Shaker report just came out today. It just went out probably a few hours ago. That's my favorite article we do every week, and we dig for crazy, interesting sales. That one right there, man, I'm blanking on the name of that book, of course. what was that book called? Jeez Louise.
We'll
Get
jump
off the road.
into that.
Dr. Slump. Yeah, Dr. Slump by Toriyama. But that was a fun cover. Manga's hot right now, by the way. But everyone knows that.
That manga's so hot. Then we have this trading comics section. So basically, or trending comics. So basically, this is the opportunity to see kind of what's in your, just to remind you that you have a collection on COVRPRICE, that you have stuff in there, and stuff's probably happening with your comics. So this is just calling out some of the trending comics that you may have. We've grouped all of our lists together, right, into an area. That makes it a little bit easier. So
most importantly, the movers and shakers are now in here instead of below.
Right, right. And the cool thing, though, is if you click on any of these, we're updating the entire sections so that if you want, again, you can just hover over the key item and see why the comic is key rather than having to dive into it. We're calling out for, Daily Shakers is all about a single comic, a single sale that had like a comic that had the biggest sale for that comic that day. So it's just calling out like interesting sales. This is, in my opinion, I love this stuff. I think this is always fun to know that like Punisher 129 went for like almost $7,000, 9.6. It's like, oh, that's cool. If you ever have questions,
I love that there's a Raw book chilling right next to Daredevil 1 and Hulk 181, and it's Twisted Metal 2. Which is like,
we used to play that, Matt, that game.
Well, yes, yeah, but that comic book is incredibly rare. Like you had to, it was a Electronic Arts Challenge. Was it any agent? No, Electronic Weekly. I have to go through my notes, but it was whatever that magazine was back in the day. You had to basically do all these challenges, and if you completed them, you got one of these comic books if you were like the first ones to do it. And apparently not everyone it was really difficult, so not everyone was able to do it, and they're like really, really rare out there, like impossible to find. So yeah, $3,200 for a raw copy.
So wow,
the fifth sale that we've ever seen. I mean, this is a book that if you find it, you're going to find it in the dollar bin because it goes way under the radar for people.
Memorize this cover. It's easy to remember. It's pretty scary.
This is what I love. I love digging for books, and that's the stuff you kind of, you're not going to come across that every time, or probably never going to come across it, but you never know.
But that's what the shaker page is all about, is all the daily shakers and the expensive stuff. But what I want to show is now we're trying to surface this information a little bit better. You can now go in and filter this entire section, right? And you can go by publisher, you can check out by eras. You can just say like, okay, of the shakers, what's the highest value? And I think it's actually probably already sorted that way. But you can also do
all-time high.
What's that?
Sorted by the all-time high.
Sorted by all-time high, yeah. Oh, let me see. I forgot if this one actually. No, so yeah, it did. Sorry. Oh, no, it didn't. So that it's already sorted that way. But if you can do like current trending values and whatnot, things like that. So it's a good way to kind of go in and explore. We also did that with the hot list and the movers list. So this is a brand new, we talked about this a little bit last time, but it's a brand new algorithm that's taken into consideration units sold, jumps in value, just to kind of show you what's happening today that's actually that we consider pretty hot. And again, you got filtering. If you ever wonder what it's about, you can click on the little information icon there.
And that's good for everything on the site. Those little icon buttons are everywhere. So if you're wondering like, hey, what does this do? What is that for? Those are scattered now throughout to kind of help give you a little bit of extra information.
And a fun little tip is if you add it to your collection, you're going to see this little icon above it. You can add multiple. It'll turn to 2, 3. And if you click on it, it should take you to that comic book in your collection, right? And if you want to get out of it, you can just clear the filter and see all your comics. But it'll take you directly into your collection, so you don't have to hunt for it when you go back into it.
I'm just going to answer a quick question for Tex, the collector. He asked if we're ever going to do an exclusive comic book. It's kind of we have to think about the metrics of that and how it looks like. Imagine one, if we did and somehow it landed on our top 10, that wouldn't look great. Even if it was like organic and it would just look really fishy. And So we try to like be mindful of not jumping into that space by selling books and offering, but maybe there's something we'll do where we'll buy books from a retailer and give them away for whatever, something in the future, but it won't be an exclusive of ours.
Yeah.
It's kind of an iffy thing.
We've talked about this for a long time, and like as a comic book price guide, it's hard to not look biased if like we create an exclusive and it shows up on our lists and stuff. It's like, well, you manipulated the data, which of course we didn't. But if it's a hot book and it's rare, it may end up there, and then that's a weird conversation. But yeah, I mean, if you guys don't get mad, I mean, we could probably do something, but we'd have to survey our members and see if everyone's okay.
And there's plenty of variants out there right now, so let's not add to the pile of books out there.
Yeah. So real quick, another question is, so we are going to do a giveaway today at the end of the call. And it's going to be for, I don't know if Matt, if you want to talk about this, but go for it.
Oh yeah, no, this was Clutch sent us a copy. Big Clutch. This was his exclusive with eBay.com, eBay Live. He was nice enough to send us a copy, so we thought it'd be fun to give it to you guys on the show.
Is that insulting to him though if we re-gift his gift?
No. I mean, this is. I mean, we're promoting him at the same time. So
okay.
Yeah, Clutch is a great dude. He has a lot of really fun exclusives. So yeah, we're happy to do it. I just try to find something that would be fun, that people would enjoy having. So
yeah. Already, I mean, I think that our very first comment actually was was this by Brandon here.
Yeah, it's a good book. I mean, it's a great cover. You can't go wrong with Optimus Prime, ready for action.
Yeah. How is the Transformers tying into Void Rivals? Is that they're just
you have to read? You have to catch up.
Well, I'm reading Void Rivals, but
Void Rivals was kind of the vehicle to announce Transformers, but it's still its own thing, and who knows. There's a lot of word that it'll come back around and fold into the Energon universe. So I say don't quote me on that. But they clearly have very well laid out plans for all that they're doing. So yeah,
I like Fedora is going to abstain this week from entering. Hey, you can enter if you want. But congratulations on last week's. Okay, let me keep going on this. So all these lists are going to be redone. We're going to be adding more lists. They're in the roadmap that make it more interesting, surfacing content, surfacing comics based on like interesting themes that you guys might want. The weekly top 10 got a facelift. As you can see, we're showing all 10 and also all 20 if you include the runners up. Clicking on each of these will take you to that comic. You can go to the article that Matt's team wrote about the top 10 if you want a deeper dive. So you can get into the actual details about why
why they made it to the list, and this is going to be looking a little bit differently in the future, just because of all the site updates. We can now grab the list automatically, where we were literally having to place, our editor was having to place every image, every body of text, in there and manually build it out. So in the future, it'll all be automated by just clicking a button, and then we just drop in the text that our writers write. And that's going to be pretty seamless. It's nice to see the runners up there now, because it kind of used to be buried in the article. The runners up, what people have told me is they like to focus on those books because it's kind of usually a hint of what might be on the top 10 in the future, or what books are slowly starting to come back up, or what books keep coming back around. There's plenty of examples of books. There are also books that are on their way out. For example, that Edge of Spider-Verse free comic book day, that's definitely moving its way out off the list. You can feel it going. So it's I think it's on its last week there.
It is fun seeing stuff move up the list and down the list, you know, over the weeks. You can start seeing it like trickle in, trickle out.
Yep. And Teen Titans just barely made the list after the news that they were doing a film last week. So
I didn't realize we're already at the hour.
What? No, we're only 25 minutes in.
Oh, we started at 5:30. Okay, I was like, we're at 6 o'clock. That went by so fast. Okay. We're going to give information about entering the giveaway towards the end. You have to be present to win because we have some instructions on how to reach back out to us. Okay, and then
someone, Deadly Venoms asked, just joined, did I miss what determines the books displayed in the, quote, my trending books section at the top?
Yeah, these are the comics in your collection that just have had the biggest percent gain. I think
positive trend, right?
A positive trend. So it's kind of just a reminder, like, hey, these things are pretty hot. I forget what the actual criteria is, but I know that it's a trend. I can bring it up on our next week's call. Oh, by the way, next week we probably won't do this because of WonderCon, but we'll be back the following. So on that one, I can bring it back and give you a definitive answer on that. But it's basically, you know, what's trending, what's hot within your collection.
And moving forward, we'll have people on. We're going to be more centric around the content about what's going on in the week. We just want to take these first two shows to kind of walk you through this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we were half like going like, oh, should we do this? What's going on? And now that we're like committed to this, we're like, okay, now let's make this you know, awesome. Right. And so yeah, interviews with people. We're gonna have themes talking about like if a creator writes a comic that's amazing, we might bring that person on and chat with them. Stuff like that, you know, anything that you guys want, to be honest. And it's also about showing you COVRPRICE and helping you understand how to use it effectively, you know.
Commander and Beef, are there any plans of adding the cover artist on the stats portion of the individual comic page? Yeah, we plan to add like all the creator information. You know, it was stuff that we, I guess, you know, is the one thing we didn't have the foresight when we created the site of creating these fields properly. And now we got to go back and fix those things, but there's a little bit of a larger overhaul on the back end to properly, you know, showcase that stuff. But that is absolutely at the top of our list to correct that.
Yeah, we have some really exciting ideas about how to display that and also how to bring the creator into that kind of conversation as well. So on the roadmap for sure. And also on the homepage, so we also now start bringing out all the latest articles. So when Matt Teams puts out a article, instead of having to go to the content section, you can just scroll down the homepage and see what the latest ones are, jump into those, you know, and kind of save you a little bit of time. Hey, look at that. It links out to our YouTube channel. And oh, look at that. That's happening right now in real time.
Right.
This is the new release section. So again, every single week, if you're not familiar or if you're not using it, definitely check out the new release section, which is right up here at the top of the page, or if you click right here, and that'll take you to the new releases and let you see everything in that section that came out. And then you can filter everything in the new releases by estimated value. So if there's anything that's kind of trending over the last, you know, few months, the new release comics, you can go through and quickly find stuff as it rises to the top.
And we kind of call it know before you go, or you can view that sorted by highest value to see what books are already trending the most in value. The thing to keep in mind, especially on Wednesdays and Thursdays, as you know, that you're on last week's.
Yeah, last week's. Do you want me to do this week?
As things trend, book values change by the hour. And then the site refreshes every couple hours. So there could always be like, you know, we're showing it at 30, but it just sold for 60, you know, and that will be updated in a few hours. It's just one of those things when you're live on Thursday, you know, the value greatly changes quickly depending on how, you know, supply demand. So it's kind of, but it's still fun. Like on Wednesday mornings, it's perfect time to check this out and see what's already hidden.
And don't forget to add them quickly to your wish list, and then you'll have a whole list of comics that you should pick up each week when you walk in. Oh, look, and this one's already going hot, right? So you can be like, oh, that's interesting, and then you can go to the you know, the hot list and see what's going on there.
Cool.
All right, let me go back to homepage. And then finally, here's something that we're kind of proud of. It's kind of cool. So underneath the new releases, now you can actually start looking at comics to buy. We don't sell comics, but we aggregate My Comic Shop and eBay. So for example, here's a list of some pretty hot comics, right? And by the way, this is typically taken from your wish list, this part right here. So, you know, if you have something on your wish list and you just want to dive in to see what it's worth, you can quickly click on it. Let's see if this pops up. Come to our marketplace page and then see eBay results. If there's any My Comic Shop stuff, you'll see it there. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But it'll give you a quick sense of like what it's worth. You can then, of course, click into it and head over to eBay and do some shopping if you want. But it's a quick way to kind of get a sense of what's going on out there. The other thing is if you use this search box down here, you can go directly. So I always go to NYX number 3 because it's just always top of mind. But if you type in, you know, if you enter the title and the issue number, quickly go to the one that you want, and it'll take you not to the COVRPRICE search results page, but to, again, our marketplace page. And this page is going to get a big update, you know, in the near future as well. But in the meantime, it's, you know, kind of doing what it does.
I think, Fedora, are you asking, do we get an affiliate fee for sending you to eBay and My Comic Shop? Yes, we do. Yes. And that dialogue is all over the site per the requirement to, you know, if you click on anything and you click on the eBay link, it says, hey, you know, we do get something from there. And I mean, it's not a ton of, like, it's really not a ton, but it's one of those things that's just kind of like, well, you know, it's very helpful for eBay. But it's kind of one of those things where we want to link out to help people find it, and they do. eBay has a very good affiliate program, so it's very easy to attach it. So it's kind of, you know, a why not. So yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you know, it is a nice way to, in addition to subscriptions coming in, also having the eBay and My Comic Shop affiliates and stuff like that. Just another way to help us, you know, support the team and grow the website.
Yeah. And My Comic Shop is a lot lower, but, you know, that's we just wanted to add another resource on there to find stuff elsewhere, and we're going to be adding more in the future. You know, we have lots of conversations with different marketplaces. Again, it's just something we got to, you know, there is some effort to adding that stuff onto the live site, so we're working on that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, I mean, that's pretty much the update. We're going to be we are literally just finishing up a planning session this week. We have our roadmap. We're trying to integrate some of the stuff that came up last week as well. I think it's important to start making those changes. So you'll see some forward-facing changes in the next month or so. I don't want to promise because the dev team will be like, don't make promises. I can hear them saying that right now to me.
Let's make it. Let's make those promises right now.
We'll have it done in one week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the newest update on the site. We also did some stuff behind the scenes. We launched an update to our algorithm that sorts and quarantines sales. It's incredibly robust now. It's actually probably better than, well, it is better than it's ever been before. So I think you're going to see a lot more accuracy across the site in terms of sales values and in terms of like the fair market value. We've also spent a lot of time building admin tools. You guys don't see that, but you definitely are going to feel that because, you know, when our team's able to process the information faster and, you know, manage like different sales and look and find more sales that might be missing and things like that and manually review quarantine sales, it gets it into the site faster. And so we spend a lot of time rebuilding all those and making it really easy for our team to jump in there and fix things.
Like, John, how many sales do you think roughly come through in a day or a week? You know,
every day we're bringing in about 25,000 sales, to be honest. And then from that, it gets whittled down based on how the algorithms kind of slice and dice everything. Yeah. There's some bogus sales. There's some things like that. So our process is, you know, it comes in, is it a valid comic book? Is it, you know, whatever? Then that gets chopped and sliced and diced. And then the algorithms actually place it with the title based on the year and the issue number. Then it identifies variant information, and then it places it in the grade. So it's like it's like a lot of different steps, and it's very complex.
There's a lot. I mean, there's so many books, and the one thing I could please, if you guys are sellers out there, please have clear titles. You don't have any idea like how often people just forget to put in CGC, and when they're selling a book, or
it came up CGC, CCG, GCG.
Yeah, so we discovered that people like to misspell CGC a lot. So it's kind of one of those things where all that stuff, every time it comes through, we figure out a fix for it. So I always tell people it's a better site today than it was yesterday, because everything that we catch, that stuff gets fixed, and all that future stuff that would have came in a similar way is now eliminated. So I guess in a way, causing those issues helps us to know how to handle them better. We're at the mercy of how people list books, and everyone lists it a little bit differently. Every marketplace lists books a little differently.
I'm also I'm getting a prompt from Mr. Day over here. Talk about the partner portal. Okay, well, so we also launched this week a business-to-business solution for retailers. Basically, if you were to come down to the bottom here, and I don't think this account can sign in, so I'm not going to necessarily show it. Let's see. Yeah. So you would click on the bottom, and you would reach out to us at partners@coverprice.com. And if you're a retailer, what we can do is we can provide some sort of solution for bringing in your new releases. Our team spends about 20 to 30 hours a week, like no joke, going through and fixing all of the imagery, the metadata, the title for FOCs, for new releases, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so what we've done is we've created a dashboard that lets you download every single week and past weeks and future weeks for new releases and FOCs. It's currently available to retailers. So reach out if you are a retailer and you're interested in learning more. We'll jump on a call and kind of talk to you about it. But it'll save you literally, what takes you about 20 hours a week, you can do it in probably 10 to 15 minutes now. So we're building out different tools for that as well.
Yeah, we're just expediting that process for people.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much the homepage updates and the list updates. Can we please talk about X-Men 97?
Or here's a great time for any questions. I know there's one just dropped off. 38 of you on there. Cue the X-Men 97. And by the way, if you have not seen, we do have an X-Men 97 spotlight video we did on this YouTube channel. And it's I thought it turned out pretty well, where it was the top 10 keys for X-Men 97. And it's I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah, this is the one right here. Go to the Cover Price Spotlight section, and again, that's
if you play it, John, just drop the music. But we added a lot of fun little if you go to the video, click on the video there. We added a lot of fun Easter eggs. If you cut to like a minute in, we added basically the little, the rogue, the fun, a lot of the meme centric stuff that came out of this, like Wolverine holding the picture frame, and we had the rogue butt shot, which has reclaimed its popularity thanks to Mark Brooks actually doing a polished version of that, which is, I mean, how is it not a cover? It would be, that would sell instantly. It would sell it instantly, guaranteed.
So these are all, you said these are all just the relevant like first appearances and stuff?
Yeah, the roadmap we took you was like, hey, here you can't not talk about X-Men without X-Men 1, right? And then, X-Men 1, Jim Lee's version and Claremont's version was kind of the basic template for the TV series, where they took a lot of the costuming and also the characters. And then you can't have X-Men 97 without X-Men Adventures, and kind of continue to stories that were pulled from the TV series, and we kind of take you on the journey of what leads into X-Men 97.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, it was totally based on Jim Lee's artwork for the cartoon, the animated series.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's clear. You can totally see it in there.
Yeah.
One thing I hope that they do is, is try to make Jubilee cool. Like if they,
you know what? I was gonna say, like, I always was like, so what? She has the pyrokinetic bursts or whatever.
Well, she's kind of I forget her backstory, but she was Jubilation. What was the crazy villain?
Sinister.
It was a Jubilation Lee, or no? I guess that's her full name, Jubilation Lee. I forget. People can help me out about there. There was like a more powered up version of her.
Well, she became a vampire for a while.
Well, that was something. Yeah, that was something different. But,
yeah. So far, I think they did kind of make her a little bit cool. I don't want to give anything away, but like all of their powers are used like really cool so far in the series. What's this one? This one's the look. His claws are glowing. It must be his Gambit's kinetic touch. No,
that's Havoc.
No, I'm just saying Wolverine's claws are red. So.
Oh.
No.
Havoc's always been one of my favorite X-Men.
Why is that?
I always loved his costume. I loved his aesthetic, and his powers were always like basically the sun flares that would come from his abilities. I love that the Summers brothers they could just blast each other and nothing happens. That they just absorbed each other's energy. I mean, I became a fan of Havoc during Mutant X. If you guys, when basically he got sent to a different dimension. Mutant X is fantastic, way underappreciated. And that's kind of where I kind of saw him as, he should have been a leader. I know he did lead the X-Men at some point in the early 2010s, roughly, I think, at some point. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. We have a question from for loading purchase prices. When you add new books to your collection, is there any plans for a cover price with the E, not the no E feature, so you can load the cost faster based on the little cover price? Yeah, actually, we had talked about that, and I thought, that's one thing we could bring in, I think, with that. I'll make a note of that. Actually, let me double check to see what happened with that. But that was on the discussion board.
There's an alternative that you can do. For example, there's a lot of bulk edit tools, so you can essentially select all the books you want to put a price in for, and you can drop in one price into all of them if you want, like say $2.99 across the board. Or if you bought them in a dollar bin sale or a bulk sale, you can drop $1 in for because that was your cost. That's another way to kind of do that in a quick way. He did lead X Factor. Yeah, totally. Completely. Yeah.
When you said X-Men, I was thinking that because that was like whatever.
I don't know why I even forgot that, because that was all those characters were some of my favorite X characters.
Yeah, the episode 2 baseball game was like taken right from the book, right from the comics. It was really cool. Cool. Well, why don't we do the giveaway?
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Let's see here. So, okay, just like last time, if you guys, to enter the giveaway, you have to type in #giveaway into the comment. That will enter you. Don't try doing it 50 times because the system it'll only count you once. But go ahead and start entering, and we will do the giveaway in a little bit.
Thank you, Bobby, for the editor's note on Jubilee as in a future timeline where she's a villain. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, wait, what did he say? I like that. Oh, that's fun. All right, a lot of giveaway entries. You can see the entry tool going, building up. Pretty good chance to win today, guys. Let's see what else is here. Oh yeah, and this was true to form. They put him in that costume.
While we're waiting, you want to run through the Shaker report that came out today, just to kind of highlight some books as those giveaway entries roll in. So we love finding like obscure stuff. If you guys go, if you don't watch the Lord Shaker show, which is Thursday nights, they covered about 10 of these, and there's probably another, I don't know, roughly 8 more on here. But we just found, some fun sales of books that, like, hey, did you know that this is selling for this much? Digimon, it was like, the Pokemon's step cousin, I don't know what it was one of the, but Digimon was cool in its own way, and it was very popular at the time. There's a lot of nostalgia for it, which is why that book is trending. You keep rolling through. Mm-hmm. We have Dr. Slump, which, I mean, what's really interesting about this, I don't know if you guys have a lot of manga shops around you, especially the ones that have who's the publisher? Scroll down on Viz. Jeez, I couldn't think of it. Viz has a lot of, like, you can find first print Viz English translations of popular manga. They're pretty much everywhere. But now some of the stuff is starting to take off. Like, you could have bought this for $10 a year or two ago, and now it just sold for like $275. How much was it?
$246.
At $246 for a first edition. It's kind of nuts. I mean, we were only seeing price jumps like that for the convention exclusives, which were usually had a foil cover. And I was reading some stats about manga, and the projected growth it has right now is incredible. So, do you think Super Spidey Stories will ever get the recognition worth it really deserves? We did cover a Spider Super Stories book last week, which had a Jaws homage on it. That book's hit an all-time high. And we did cover in our reflective, there was some debate over one of the characters being the first Black Spider-Man, and they're not Miles Morales. But we went into that. If you read our reflective article for this week, we go into that. And here's Zetascope books are worth money. This Goddess cover is actually, Marilyn Monroe cover. All Marilyn Monroe covers tend to do well in the aftermarket. This was one of those books, this Harley book. I'm not a fan of this cover, but I know a lot of people are a fan of this cover out there. It's super creepy. I think it's a 1 in 100, right? Yeah.
1 in 50.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't paying attention to DC incentives, so they used to accept returns, and so people would, most retailers would overorder to get these incentives, but they stopped doing that, I believe, last November, where there's no more, and it could even be further back than that, where there's no more returns. So a lot of these stores are not going heavily, they're not ordering 50 copies of Harley Quinn number 37, for example. They might be getting 10, or just their pull, they're not ordering 50. So a lot of these incentive variants are just really scarce. And then on top of that, they're original covers. They're not just versions of, the open order B covers, which a lot of people in the market are getting frustrated by, because it's kind of, everyone hates reusing artwork on variants. But the fact, well, it's not. It's just, it kind of takes the value away from the original cover.
Not to mention, it makes it pretty damn hard to find it when you have print, 2, 3, 4, 5, all with the same color with a slight tint. It confuses me every single time, because I'm like, what is that? Which one is that?
Which one is? Yeah, and it's hard for tracking too. But what I just love that DC's doing original covers for their incentives, and the right cover will just hit. I mean, what did I can't see because the print's too small, but
its copies are going between 150 and 300.
But there was a
375 was the biggest.
375 it hit raw, which is kind of nuts. Like back in the day, these were like variant, the special variants that would ever hit those prices. Do you want to do? I think we're done with the giveaway. Do you want to run that?
Yeah. So if you haven't typed in hashtag giveaway into the comments, do that now. Be sure to do it. And if you already did it, don't worry, it's in there. Look, we already have. Let's see. We'll go to this one. No, this one. Okay, 25. That's a pretty good chance there. All right, should we run it? All right, here we go.
Yeah. Come. We give away good books every week. So
yeah, each week we're going to give away something. So, and the winner is Bo. Single name, no last name.
Comics.
Bo, yeah, Bo knows comics. Bo, the way we do this is hit us up on via Instagram, direct message us so we can see your account. If you're on here right now, first type to make sure you're on here so we can give it to you.
Yeah, make sure you're here. Just there you go. Hooray!
There's Bo.
All right. Even the icon's just Bo.
Bo, if you have an Instagram account, reach out to COVRPRICE's page, send us a direct message saying you won, and I'm making a note to keep track of that for the Transformers one.
Or drop your name, your address, and your phone number in the chat notes.
Yeah, we only accept Social Security numbers, so that'd be great. But yeah, congratulations to you. And we will definitely have more giveaways, every single time we do this. Be sure to come and see us at WonderCon. We have a panel on Friday where we'll be talking about aftermarket sales and the effects of media on comic books.
That's just to go over basically the effects of the effects that content has on the aftermarket, and it's pretty clear. It's a very key driver of what is moving in the aftermarket. It's a key driver of getting people into shops. It's a key driver for keeping this industry alive. There's a lot of pitfalls in navigating that market because a lot of content books don't hold in value. So it's like understanding how to navigate that flow when we're going to kind of highlight what we've seen by data, the best times to buy, best times to sell, just pretty much go over all those nuances, and eventually we'll turn this stuff into an article that will live forever.
We could probably take out some of the key points later in this, comics covered, and talk about because Matt does have a good algorithm or time pattern of when to buy, when to sell, stuff like that. And I think it's really helpful and very interesting.
Well, it's always changing. I mean, right now, content books are content meaning not just Marvel and DC, but this property is optioned or in development. Understanding the kind of the nuances behind a lot of the industry terminology, when to hear certain words and know to stay away from. For example, if a producer has optioned a book, that means they're just going to look at it for a couple months and think about making it. Those are always there's a lot of stuff that kind of know when not to respond. Go running out and finding a book because the stuff lingers in limbo, in development hell for years. We're actually going to also do. We're going to build an evergreen article that will just be a running list of everything that's been optioned, rumored, mentioned, cast, and where they are in their supposed development. We also have the benefit of hearing a lot of stuff directly of where things are. So everyone loves to announce when things are optioned, and no one notifies people when those fall through. And it happens every day.
I want to call out real quick. We have a convention section. Are we doing WonderCon exclusives list of it, or is it mostly the more major conventions?
Well, it's only if there's a lot, we'll definitely do it. If there's just a handful, we probably won't. like obviously San Diego, New York Comic Con. What was that one for? Was that
This is MegaCon?
I mean, those conventions have so much that we not only do we need to get them into our system, we're like while we're doing it, we track what they're selling for, what they cost at the convention, and which ones are trending in the aftermarket, and kind of like our personal gut checks of what we think will do well, based on just past trends we've seen with convention books. I think we kind of nailed it, especially with our San Diego Comic-Con list.
Yeah, I mean, some people say that it's a great way to aggregate everything all together because it's really hard to find that stuff typically.
Yeah, and people use it as a shopping list because they could just run up. And we also include panel books, which is like, that's really stuff. People tend to not announce that stuff, like they're giving away a book at a panel. Like we did that for, I think McFarlane had a panel, and he was giving away a signed Spawn comic for free to everyone that came in. And like, it wasn't even, that room wasn't even maxed out. And I'm like, how is not everyone at the convention at this panel? Yeah. It's literally show up, get a free $700 book, $500 book, whatever. So we kind of share that stuff too, which is fun.
Yeah, so there's a ton of helpful stuff. I know we're coming up on the hour, so thanks everybody for joining us today and letting us kind of walk you through some of the updates. Like Matt was saying in the beginning, this show is going to change and I think have more themed towards
a little more fun. We'll talk more about content and what's going on in the week. We'll have other people on, so there's definitely more chatter, more opinions, and a little more fun.
Yeah. So again, thanks everybody. Totally appreciate having you all here. Hope you all have a good weekend. And with that, we go back to our standby cool thing. Bye everyone.
Cool. Bye guys.